Hello, and welcome to another Rang Rouge unit of the week. Today, we take a look at the FV 510 Warrior Milan. The Warrior was introduced into the British Army in 1988 to replace the old and aging FV 430 series of armoured fighting vehicles. Now, some of the cool features of the Warrior is that, well, first off, had a 30mm autocannon strapped on top, which is pretty high caliber, I'd have to say. Also, this vehicle didn't have any side firing ports like BMPs and M2 Bradleys would have. This is because of the fact the British believed that the infantry inside the vehicle do not really need to fire out for protection. That's what the big gun on the top is supposed to do. So because they don't have any side ports, they're allowed to add a lot more extra armor to the side, adding to the Warrior survivability. And speaking of survivability, the Warrior can survive pretty much in a nuclear race zone for up to 48 hours as the crew has food, shelter, and most importantly, a toilet inside the armoured fighting vehicle. In-game, the FV510 Warrior Milan is a 25-point British unit with a year restriction of 1988 and type restrictions of armoured and mechanised decks. And if you take a look at its first weapon, we've got an L21A1 Radin 30mm autocannon with 120 round capacity, range of round of 1.7 kilometers, range of helicopters 1.5 kilometers, 40% accuracy, 3 AP, 1 HE, and 90 rounds a minute fire rate. Now, the Radin is quite a unique autocannon, as even though it has a high caliber, it shoots at quite a slow pace. But it does make up for that in pretty much pure firepower of 3 AP is quite nice. Now, that 3 AP is just going to get higher and higher and higher when you get closer to the target. So I say at probably 500 meters, you could take down a light tank like a T-55 frontally if you can get close enough. And if we take a look at its second weapon, we've got a Milan F2 ATGM, range of ground of 2.4 kilometers, 40% accuracy, 24 AP, and a reload time of 5 seconds. Overall, a pretty solid anti-tank guided missile system. They are sort of lacking in ammo as he only got 4 shots. And finally, just pop down to its miscellaneous stat, has 6 frontal armor, 5 on the side, 2 on the back, and 2 up top. We have a medium size, medium optics, 65 km/h off-road, 110 km on-road, and an autonomy of 480 km. In battle, I say the Warrior really follows the British tradition quite well. Slow firing guns, not entirely fast, but it's pretty bloody heavily armoured, and it packs quite a punch. This thing has 6 frontal armour. 6, that's an awful lot. BMP 2s and runs have like 2 to 3 frontal armour. Bradley's 2 frontal armour. This is probably one of the most heavily armoured infantry vehicles that you can get, and it has 5 side armour as well. It can also survive RPG shots that other armoured vehicles wouldn't be able to, just because of all that bloody armour. And it's not just the armour that's pretty good about this vehicle, it has nice firepower. The Radin may not be the best autocannon in my books, but it's still an autocannon. You can still blow up infantry, and heck, you could kill a couple tanks if you get close enough. And speaking about killing tanks, you got the Milan F2 to do that job exactly. Because after you drop to the infantry, you can't use autocannons in open range fights that you find yourself being involved in a lot in Red Dragon. You can plop his thing in a bus and use it as a nice ATGM launcher. And it's also quite nicely priced at 25 points, which isn't a big drop in the bucket. So, overall, I say the Warrior is a pretty nice APC. It's got the armour, it's got the firepower, and it's got okay speed to get into towns, drop off the infantry, and fall back. And speaking of infantry, this may consider either a pro or con of this vehicle. You can only get this vehicle with Fusiliers and Fusiliers 90, nothing else. which isn't too bad considering Fusiliers are quite nice. They're pretty cheap at 10 points, but if you're on a bringer of your Royal Marines or something a bit more fancier, you're going to have to deal with a Sarkran or a Stolly instead. Well, that's all I have time for. It's been another Rangroo's Unit of the Week. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and most importantly, take it easy.